2025 coming to an end. I don't know about you guys, but it was a good year for me. To begin with, all three of us got married in 2025. That's right. Lauren and I snuck off to the Black Hills, got married in middle of October. Couldn't let Paddle Don and Shags have all the fun. So we're going to recap three different weddings on this podcast, as well as some of the other adventures undertaken by this crew in 2025 and what we're looking forward to in 2026. I'm Brandon Butler.
I'm Nathan Shags McLeod.
I'm Paddle Don.
Welcome to the Driftwood Outdoors podcast. So right out of the gate, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, you can probably notice and see that I am now beardless. It was for a great cause. I feel very uncomfortable on camera or naked. We were joking before we recorded. I feel like I have like three chins now. I forgot how weak I feel like my chin is. But we put Trevor and I, that I do the morning show with on 96.7 KCMQ, we did the 1-for-1 holiday food drive for the food bank of Central and Northeast Missouri, and we put bounties on our beards for $1,000. Trevor was up first. He'd shave his because his beard was old enough to drive. It was like a 16-year-old beard. Mine had come off 5 or 6 years ago. I'd done it again for a different charity. But yeah, the money came in, and I shaved mine live during a radio break and a Facebook Live on the Morning Shag Facebook page. And Trevor's wife is a barber, so he made a real fun reel of getting the old Sweeney Todd, the straight razor from his wife. And yeah, it's been awkward and uncomfortable, and it kind of made me laugh, and I'm sure we'll get into it eventually. But someone on one of our reels that didn't agree with what I was saying about the Department of Conservation called me, just said, whatever, bearded Joe Biden.
Joke's on him.
Yeah, well, joke's on you, bud. I don't got a beard anymore. I enjoy that we've gotten to a point in our society that suddenly somehow being called a former president of the United States of America is supposed to be some type of dig or shot that's going to destroy my ego. It makes me laugh.
Man, we should collect some of them comments to put a coffee table book together in the future. It'd be a good one. But
there's no context. They're just like, whatever, bearded Joe Biden. That's what they said.
I will say, man, in all honesty, some people take their beard off and they look a little different. Like, you look like a different person with your beard on and your beard off. I mean, you're super tall, so the beard kind of, I don't know, when the beard hangs down a foot, maybe it like levels out something, but you look even taller without the beard.
I do feel like I look younger. I feel like it does take some years off. And now when I'm looking in the mirror and it's starting to come in a little bit, I'm seeing a lot more gray stubble than I remember there being in the beard while I had it. So I hope it doesn't backfire and just come back all white.
Well, good on you though for doing it for charity. You are definitely someone that does a lot for charity. Yeah. You've got your causes, you stand behind them. I hope you get the recognition and praise you deserve for that.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Well, let's not bury the lead because, I mean, we've been holding on to this for quite a while. You kept it a secret from a lot of us, too, that you and Lauren getting married. So give us the whole rundown on that, because that's the funny thing. We all went to each other's weddings, except for none of us went to Brandon's.
Nobody went to Brandon's. Yeah, we tried to keep it a secret the best we could. Sounds like it wasn't a perfect laid plan, but after 4 years and a lot of life changes and growing and like a true friendship, we decided to get married, and we decided we just wanted to do it by ourselves. And we went to the Black Hills of South Dakota. I was already out there for a work event. Had pulled the camper. Lauren flew into Rapid City, picked her up. We went down to Custer State Park, camped at Game Lodge for a few nights, did the wildlife loop, looking at bison, antelope, did a couple little hikes, fished the Spearfish Canyon, and then had the wedding at Sylvan Lake. And it was one of those deals where it was kind of misty and rainy all day. Oh, because we got up super early to do our engagement photos on the same day as our wedding. So we drove 2 hours east to the Badlands National Park and did the engagement photos out there, and then drove all the way back. And it just rained all day. But if you see the photos, they turned out pretty amazing with that backdrop. So we stayed in Deadwood for 2 more nights, had a nice time in Deadwood, and met some strangers. We went out in our suit and wedding dress, and people were just super cool. And I love that town. I love the Black Hills. You know, the Lakota Sioux believe that is where life began. And I feel like this is where a new life begins for me. So I was pretty happy to do it there.
Yeah, Deadwood, if you've never been, is such a cool little town. It's pretty neat. I got to stop by when I graduated at college in St. Paul. My parents came out for my graduation, and then we all drove back to Oregon in a single cab, 3 in a tree, old Ford pickup, where you can imagine you've met my family, me, my dad, my mom, crammed in that single cab with all my stuff in the back of the truck. But we stopped and stayed a night in Deadwood, and I thought that was a pretty cool place.
Well, they have a big Halloween celebration called Dead Weird, and I know how much you and Savannah enjoy Halloween. I think it'd be fun to go out there for that. They also have a singer-songwriter deal paddled on that you'd probably like, that I want to go to real bad. Yeah, that whole area, the Black Hills. I mean, the fishing, Lauren and I fished Rapid Creek through a golf course, weren't catching any fish, threw our rods in the truck and went golfing instead. So, and then I put a couple balls into the creek. So,
Oh, dude, you'll be happy to hear this. I've been playing quite a bit of golf here in December because it's been in the 60s. I actually played today, but Flanner and I went out on Saturday and straight up just a 2-man scramble, shot like an 83, which is really good for him and I. And then went out today and shot an 86. And I was joking with him. I was like, dude, this is the first time we've ever golfed together where I played better than he did. And I'm just so stoked. Of course, now it's over, and I feel like I'm finally finding my stride in my golf game. And now I'm going to have to find a freaking bay or something to keep swinging in. That's what we need to do, dude. We got to combine our Driftwood money and just create a fun little golf simulator for us to use.
There's Driftwood money?
no.
We're still looking for it, Paddle Don. We're still looking for it. Too.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
So, hey, by the way, Brandon, those wedding pictures were incredible. That was
yes,
good. We all loved it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. We legitimately didn't tell anybody, either of our families, our closest friends. I talked to my daughters, of course, and had, they're happy. Got a great buy-in from them. So that was the most important thing to me. And they understood that we wanted to just kind of go out and do it on our own. And it was perfect. We got to spend 5 days together, just enjoying the outdoors. And yeah, I love how the photos turned out too. So,
well, yeah, it turned out really well.
If you would have called me, I would have happily sung the Lord's Prayer for you.
We'll
get to that.
Well, I reached out to your officiant, but he was booked, so we decided to go to the Black Hills instead.
But Paddle Don, I am curious. Did you notice him wearing the wedding ring at my wedding?
I did not notice it.
Because there was some whispers that people were coming up and asking me. I was like, I don't know. You go ask him. I'm out here having a good time on mine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, we actually took photos and had them framed, and I went to my parents and said, "Hey, we got you this for your Florida house." And my mom opens it up, and of course she's like, "Oh, this is so nice. I've wanted one of these, and sets it on the table like it was just full of stock photos or something.
With the frame.
It's like, look a little closer, And so then we did the same with my aunts and uncles and stuff, and it was just fun, surprise people, and everybody's been so happy, and these are the moments where Facebook is worth still having. Yeah, when you get to see the people that care, that's nice. So, thanks.
Yeah. Congratulations officially.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you'd ever get married again. I'm surprised, I'm impressed, and I'm happy that you decided to do it. You found a good one.
Yeah, man. I talked to Savannah about it actually. Just it feels different. It feels better. You guys were engaged for a really long time, and you could have gotten to the point where you thought there's no real difference here. It's just a piece of paper, but you're pushing all your chips in, and that's exciting. Like it's an exciting rush to say like I'm all in on something and be all in on it, and they are as well. So it does feel different. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah, and well, before we started this podcast, it's like I wasn't going to mention it because I feel like we've been talking about it so much. But yes, I've had a roller coaster bit of a year,
Mm-hmm.
losing my dad earlier in April. But that was kind of the catalyst of us finally pulling the trigger, of us being home and seeing his health deteriorating and being like, all right, we need to set a date, and if we want him to be there. And I thought we'd get another year with him, and just the decline this year was just so dramatic. And unfortunately he didn't make it to the wedding, but that was kind of the decision making of us finally pulling the trigger, because we probably would have just continued to be engaged because we were so happy in our relationship. We didn't really feel like there was a need to do it. But I mean, I'm glad we did. I mean, I wish my dad could have been there. I'm not going to lie. It would have been nice to have him for sure. But I'm definitely happy we're married now. I mean, the experience, you guys were there. It was a beautiful ceremony with a rockin' band and really cool people. And I've made that joke before. Never in my life would I have thought at my wedding I would have two state reps there, representatives,
Yeah.
and Tim Taylor and Bruce Sassman and both of their lovely families, and then the former director of the department and her husband, professional fishing guide, or professional bass fisherman in Sarah and Scott Polly, and then of course Jason, the current director, and just the who's who of conservation, the who's who of kind of Missouri, and my friends and family, and like my college buddies that are just wild, just still in our late 40s. And it was just a mixed bag, a silly assortment of meats and cheeses, if you will. And it was just a really neat experience. And I'm glad we did it for sure.
There's a great quote. It's something along the lines of, you can judge a man's character by the company that he keeps. And you look at like who was at your wedding. I look at who was commenting on mine, who we got to spend time with at Paddle Dons, and it's like, we're all doing pretty well in the riches of life when it comes to the relationships that we have and the company that we're keeping. We got great people around us, fabulous friends, family. So it's a blessed existence.
Well, I did have a excuse me, a moment there when we were sitting down getting ready for the ceremony at Shags' wedding, and had to look around, and it was definitely the whole spectrum, from dirtbag trout bums to politicians. And I was honored to fit somewhere right in there in the middle when Bruce and his wife came over and sat down next to me. And I hadn't seen him since the fire, but we did some catching up, and it was one of those moments when I just had to look around the room, and not the room, but we were outside at the amphitheater there, but I had to look around the crowd, and wow, you had the full spectrum, Shags.
It was definitely a mixed bag. My heart was full. Like Brandon said, all three of us we got really good people surrounding us, in friends and colleagues and family, and we're all very blessed for sure.
Well, speaking of being blessed, Noah calls us spoiled for all the trips we get to take and stuff. Let's do a little recapping on before we lose everybody with our sentimental sappiness. We'll do some recapping on outdoor trips this year. And I'll kick it off. Shags didn't make the adventure, but the Boundary Waters, Paddle Don and I together on that was a heck of an adventure, man.
Yeah, I think Adam's finally recuperated. He was
Nobody's seen Adam He's not been
Pepper
on the podcast
Spring
ever since.
or Adam.
He's never been back on the podcast. Adam just walks around with black sunglasses on now.
Yeah.
He switches the patch from eye to eye, day to day.
That was a great trip, though. Got to hand it to Mr. McInthune. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did, Scott.
Yeah, Scott did a great job putting that trip together. It was everything I expected, plus some. The fishing was everything we thought it would be, plus more. Pulling up walleye like that, just basically it was like, having our own drive-through. We pull out and pull up some walleye, go eat them, go catch some fish for fun. It was just a great trip. We joke about Adam, but he took that like a champ.
Oh man, yeah.
That was, it was on the way out. Thank goodness, because if it would have been worse, I couldn't imagine what he'd have been like all week. And, if he'd had to suffer through anything, but fortunately he made a quick recovery. And, man, I got to say that it was great paddling with him for a week. We started off with two left hands, and, after the first day we got into a groove, and by the end of by the middle of the week, we had it down. We go out and didn't even have to speak. We just knew who was going to do what, and we worked well as a team. And that was great. It's an incredible experience. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, a couple of surprises. I was surprised how many people were back in there. I was surprised that there was competition for campsites. We had to wait on the site that we wanted for a couple of nights. I also didn't expect us to have a base camp that we fished from every day. I kind of thought it would be more of like a trail from campsite to campsite, kind of like you were going down river, but maybe making a loop or something. And that's just, not knowing. I assume that from watching other things.
Well, Scott had mentioned that, that was a possibility that we could do that. But then I'm kind of glad we did a base camp, because when you do a circuit trip, you spend half your time setting up and tearing down and packing and unpacking. So it was nice being able to get up and relax, go out, fish, come back and relax. That was, to me.
We were not packed for a circuit trip. We were packed for a base camp.
Definitely.
So I'm glad we didn't circuit trip with what we had. But if I went back, I think I could pack much more minimalist and, fish in between campsites, like fish your way to your next campsite.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be fun.
Doing it that way, you definitely got to do the ultralight way. We were borderline ultra heavy. I mean, we had that canopy we had was, well over 100 pounds and 6 foot tall. But man, it was worth it on the rainy days.
Oh, it was, yeah, it absolutely was. Shags didn't go with us to the Boundary Waters, but he went up to Minnesota not long after. Return trip to Ballard's Resort. That was a podcast from the deck. Run through that one.
The lighting wasn't all that great, but yeah, I look forward to that every single year. And we're gonna do it again come August. It's always the first week in August. Go up to Ballard's Resort, Lake of the Woods on the Rainy River. And this past year, the fishing was just phenomenal. It was great the first year, but we caught a lot of keeper fish. We didn't catch a lot of what I'd call photo fish, picture fish, the fish in the slots. But this year it was just big fish after big fish after big fish. They were talking about some type of perch or some type of minnow hatch on the bottom. So a lot of times in years previous, those big fish would be more suspended in the water column. And I understand it. They don't know who's going to be in these boats, so they try to make it as easy as humanly possible. And that's dragging spinners or wedding rings or whatever you want to call them with a worm or a leech or a minnow on the mud flats. Anybody can do that. You feel it on the bottom, you give it a crank, and then you hold on and wait for a hit. And this past year, because of all those fish on the bottom, we were catching big ones with some of the keepers. And Savannah caught a 27-inch, 14-inch girth walleye, biggest fish out of our boat the whole trip. So, of course, I took the measurements, took some pictures, and sent that off to Heath and Larry at Scenic Rivers. So hopefully next year she'll have her replica to hang up in her wall. And I can't say enough good things about that place. It's just such a beautiful area. Now, my mom has even mentioned that she may fly out and then ride up the bus with us and do the trip. So that could be an even more fun experience. So I'm looking forward to the 2026 trip as well. And one of these days, I'll convince you guys to pay to come fishing with me.
Probably not. Probably not.
Or you should just drive up and meet us up there and do your own thing. It'd be fun.
We'll just go to Paul Johnson's next door.
Yep.
Get hooked up with him.
Yeah.
Well, we did have Paul on to talk about Lake of the Woods just recently. When you go up there,
a couple
you're
weeks ago.
primarily walleye fishing.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. We were doing walleye. And I don't even think the first year we caught some pike and some perch. And this past year, I don't think we caught any pike on our boat. Flanner, another semi-paid pro staffer, Tim Flanner, he caught a giant crappie. And that was the joke up there the whole time, because I could have swore they said it was 25 inches. And so I go back to the resort and I'm bragging Flanner up about how he caught a 25-inch crappie. And then people are like, I hear them whispering like off in the distance, like calling me a liar. And you know me, I get a little feisty sometimes. Like, who are you calling? I saw it. I was there. I blame the Dramamine. I was still a little goopy. But it was not, because they were like, what'd you do with that 25-inch crappie? And you're like, we'll put it in the freezer. And they're like, well, that would have been a world record. And then it started dawning on me of how ridiculous me saying that there was a 25-inch crappie. And then the people that are on our trip, by the next morning, I'm getting AI generated imagery of me holding a giant 25-inch crappie. And to this day, I still get a text during the show reminding me of me saying that he caught a 25-inch crappie. It was just...
How big was it actually?
Man, I can't even remember now. I think it might have been like 14.
Yeah, 15-inch crappie is a nice crappie.
I think that's what I think, 14, 15. And for some reason, I was sitting next to the cooler and I could have swore I saw him throw it down on the cooler ruler to see it, and him saying 25. And everyone was like, oh my goodness, it's a huge crappie. But no, it was like 14, 15.
Yeah. Well, you can just kind of go around the horn, recap some trips. Man, I had an incredible time on Martha's Vineyard with Johnny Graham. I mean, one of the most surprising outdoor adventures of my life. First of all, I guess I expected that I was rolling into like Beverly Hills on an island. I had Bentleys and, La Costa and Prada and all that, Louis Vuitton on my mind going into this place. It wasn't like that at all. I mean, we were on dirt roads, gravel roads. All the houses are built to look similar, with the cedar shake exterior that's all eventually fading gray. It looks like you would expect the painting to look of 1600 Martha's Vineyard. These incredible rock walls that run throughout the entire island. Seafood, that's always a draw for me, and then you got Johnny Graham. That's you kill a turkey and give it to him to cook it. Throw in some like fresh bay scallops from right there as well. But that was a heck of a hunt, because I was going there for my 50 and 50 by 50 for Massachusetts. And Johnny had told me how on the island there's signs like do not approach the turkey signs, as if you were in Yellowstone and they were telling you not to approach the bison. But nobody hunts them. And I checked the county kill, and in 2016, 1 turkey was killed in the county. In 2024, it was like 25 turkeys. So it was really growing in popularity. And ultimately, we killed 3 in 3 days. So they're going to see this major like conservation spike in their turkey harvest. But we end up over there. Johnny puts me with this guy named Brett. I've never met Brett before, but he's the environmental head of the Indian tribe that's on the island still, the Gayhead tribe. And he's seen turkeys every day, but never killed one. Johnny puts us in a blind together, explains that I'm here to get this quest done. So it's kind of important that I shoot first, We roost a bird the night before. We get in the blind together. He just wants to kind of hang out and watch how a turkey hunt goes down. This turkey's gobbling like 300 yards behind us. I said, I'm going to go up there and kill that turkey. And he said, okay. Now I'm hunting with a gun. I've done a little research on it. It was my great grandfather's single shot 12 gauge. It's got like a 4-foot barrel. It was built in 1910. And I don't think anybody shot it probably since the 60s, so it's sat dormant for a very long time until it was given to me. And I want to kill a turkey with that gun. So I've got it all set up. That turkey's gobbling. I move in about 100 yards. Call, he fires. He's starting to come. I go about another 30 yards. It looks like I'm in a scene from Last of the Mohicans. It's like a fern, rainforest, jungly, mucky marsh, big rocks. And I get cozied up to a rock, and there's a big trail that I expect this turkey's going to come down. Now I can see it walking about 30 yards through the brush, just bobbing along the outside of the brush. So I quit calling at that point, expecting him to hit that trail, turn, come right to me, and I'm going to shoot him. Well, I'm like beating down on the gun, and all of a sudden it's like, he should have been here by now. He really should have been here by now. Kaboom! And when I stopped calling, Brett kept calling. That turkey just bypassed right past me, went right down to the blind, got on the decoy. Brett said, I didn't know what to do besides shoot it. So he got it. We went through the second day of my hunt, didn't get a turkey, started the third day with no turkeys, and pulled out a miracle in the last hour by getting one for me and then getting one for Johnny as the closing seconds ticked away. So turned out to be one of the coolest hunts ever in a place that I didn't expect it to be a cool hunt at all. The people were amazing. The seafood was amazing. Johnny Graham's one of the coolest people on the planet. His whole family, Vicky, all the kids. It was, super Shags fan. So we got him on the phone with Vicky's daughter, which is cool.
Yeah,
So-
send him some Cult of Shags memorabilia and some shirts and stickers and some KCMQ stuff too. And it was cool just getting to see him coming back for deer season and stopping by your place when my uncle was in town and getting to visit with him a little bit and share some of the food from my neck of the woods, the crab and the razor clams Uncle Steve had brought back. That was a pleasant surprise just seeing him pop in.
Yeah, he's going to be back for Christmas too. In fact, he's bringing that gun back to me. I left it out there so I didn't have to fly with it. I was so happy to get one with that. And what a story for my book. Anyways, yeah, Martha's Vineyard. Who'd have thought? So, Paddle Don, you got an adventure that you took this year to share?
Well, I packed, repacked, packed again, went through all my gear, packed again for Minnesota. Matter of fact, I'm just putting this den together. You can't see the computer is sitting on a 6-foot pile of stuff that's going into this room. But when I got back, I had to focus on the wedding, and got a little bit of a surprise when the future in-laws said they were going to come a little bit early and help us out. We were planning our own wedding. We got married just north of here in Wabash, Indiana, which is a great little town. You'd have probably seen more of it if you stayed there, but
I was like, that's not where we stayed.
But anyhow, they said they were going to come a little bit early and help out. To them, a little bit early was a month. So we have 1,000 square foot ranch house and 3 dogs. You probably see me keeping Apple, my Brittany, at bay here. She's been bugging me for dinner. But so I got back and got right into wedding mode, and then had future in-laws and their dogs. So there was 4 adults and 4 dogs in a 1,000 square foot house for a month. It really cut into my water time. Usually, May into June, before the water gets too low in July, I'm on the rafts catching smallmouth. I think I got the raft wet one time this whole summer. We got married August 16th. But got back from Minnesota end of June. They were here middle of July. We got married middle of August, and then we were in the hot part of the summer. So I just kind of buckled down and didn't really do much adventuring this year. but I managed to get the raft out one time. It did make me get really geared up for deer season this year. We'll just love that Mossberg Patriot 350 Legend that I think I reviewed it last time I was on. Opening day, I dropped 2 does right at sunset. Opening day of gun season, all of archery season. Ended up, there's this 10-point buck. I got these 3 ghosts. That's just what I refer to them as, because they only show up at night on the cameras, and just 3 just freak monsters. This farm that I hunt is, it's Boone County, Indiana, and stuff is going crazy in central Indiana right now. There's been some monster bucks killed, and I've got 3 of them on this farm that, only show up at night. But this one 10-pointer just became my nemesis this year. I had a crossbow malfunction on him during bow season, and actually had my trail camera on, aimed that direction. I just got lucky, but went back and reviewed what I thought he ducked an arrow, and it just sounded weird when I shot. And we've been through this before, but going back, and I happened to be able to see the video, and he was at 37 yards, and that bolt went about 25, 27 yards out and hit the ground. When I looked at the crossbow afterwards, my windings around the string right there at the nock, I guess I just had the rails too dry, hadn't lubed them enough, and it burned through that, and it just unwound when I shot. So, he ended up, it's been a lot of fun. I have a new sister-in-law. She's actually who introduced Rebecca and I. She expressed an interest. So last year I took her out a couple times, and she about froze to death. This year I moved into a blind, and an elevated blind, and brought her out there, and 2 buddy heaters, and we spent opening day gun season together out there. And she did miss on my 10-pointer, but live and learn. He wasn't wounded. That's the important thing. And just kind of spent the whole season, getting ready for deer season. I did get my 2 does. I watched the sunset on 3, that 10-pointer and 2 other really nice bucks on closing of gun season. They were just out of range. But I told Brandon, I don't think I've Shags knows yet, but I have a solution for that for next year. I don't know if we want to go into it yet, Brandon, or not, but I got a heck of a surprise at work a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You
Yeah.
can tell that.
I heard about that.
That's a great story.
So, I raised Logan pretty much on my own, and I don't say that saying I did it completely on my own, because if it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't have been able to, to bring up such a great kid. But things got hard, and I lost my dad. It'll be on January 4th. It'll be 34, 35 years. I was 21 when my dad passed away of a heart attack, and I inherited his guns. Bringing that kid up is expensive, and I had to let 2 guns go over the years. One of them was a Browning Auto 5 that just broke my heart, but I was shotgun poor at the time. The other one was my dad's Remington Model 760 BDL 270 pump. Indiana wasn't a rifle state, and I didn't see it becoming a rifle state anytime soon. I knew with my situation, we lived okay. Brandon was at my house quite a bit. We had a pretty good thing going there, but it took a lot to raise them, and I had to make a sacrifice. And one of the things I sacrificed was that 270. Back in 2017, I was fortunate enough, just a few miles from where I sold the Browning, I walked into Honey Creek Tackle, and like a ray of light shining down from the heavens on this Browning, it was my dad's gun. It wasn't the same model. It was my dad's gun. It had made its way into that shop. There was literally a spotlight above it shining down on the used gun rack, and that's what caught my eye. And I saw a scratch that I had put on the stock as a kid. The world stood still for a moment. And I was fortunate enough to be able to buy that back. And I was, I've still got it sitting right back here in the safe. But fast forward to this year, I had told the story of having to let the 270 go. And I'm fortunate to work, a lot of you guys know I work for Mongo Attachments. We build attachments for excavators. Mongo was gracious enough when I came on board to sponsor Driftwood for a year. It's great working for a family-owned company. Granddad started it. He's passed. Dad still steers the ship. He comes in 2 days a week. But Adam is third generation. It's took a little getting used to being in my mid 50s, working for a guy in his early 30s, mid 30s now. But, we got a good thing going. And the great thing about working there is they support all of our outdoor endeavors. We actually sell Grizzly brand blinds there as well. It's not uncommon to just say, hey, I need to hunt tomorrow. And they say, go have fun. Or Adam will look at me through the window in my office and say, hey, we need to have a staff meeting tomorrow, which means get my flycraft out and get it aired up because we're going to float the river the next day for smallmouth. And, I told him that story about the 270 and he paid attention. And he called me in for my review last week and I got a very, very good review. I'm saying this story hoping that none of my coworkers watch the podcast because I tried to keep this low key. But he gave me a great review and he said in lieu of a bonus, cash is cash. It's gone in a few days and it's appreciated, but we want you to know how much we appreciate you. He said, hang on a second. He stood up and he walked over to his bookshelf. And from behind it, he pulled out a gun case and set it on his desk and said, open that up. And when I opened it was a Remington 760 BDO and 270. He said, man, those things are hard to find. I had to go to New York to get it. And he did. He went to New York and got me a gun and brought it back and kept it quiet and sat on it to tell my review. So, I'm a sentimental sap. So the second I saw what it was, the tears flowed. Yeah. So I got my dad's 270 back. It's not the same one, but it, now it's twice as sentimental. It's the same gun to me because it fills the same void. It's the same model. There's I don't know if I don't even have it up in here. There's a pronghorn somewhere in here that, I don't even know where. Oh, it's up here above me in front of me. But that was the last thing my dad killed with it out in Montana before he passed away. And, I always just looked at that and thought, man, I wish I had that gun back. And now I do. So, Indiana has also become a rifle state. So that bean field that I was hunting over got a lot smaller last week. And, I won't be watching the sunset on a 10-pointer next year. I have a feeling. So I'm really, really stoked about getting out and getting that thing set up and, getting it out there and starting to claim my own, I don't want to say trophies, but, feed my own family with it the way my dad fed us.
Yeah. So, trophies as in the memories that you're going to make.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's leaning over here in the corner right now. I couldn't, that of all the adventuring I didn't do this summer, that made up for it.
So, that's awesome, man. That's such a great story.
So I've got my dad's 12 gauge back. I've got that rifle. I've got my stepfather's AR that he built. He's gone now. And, those three guns are never going to leave my possession. They're, I said it before, but now I'm older and I've got a little more stability. Got the ability to know that I'm going to be able to hang on to them and keep them forever. And someday they'll be Logan's.
That's awesome, man. You almost got me to tear up. That was an emotional story. You work for a cool company, brother. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Adam.
Well, I mean, that kind of just walks me right into my most compelling and emotional and just amazing time in the woods is with my late father's 270. I mean, I shot my first ever blacktail buck with it, and after his passing, he gave it to me. It was My dad's will was his gun will was just a little piece of like notebook paper that had the guns and then like an arrow with a name on who got what. And there were even a couple of them. Like I was supposed to get his old 45, and my name got crossed out, and then the arrow went up to my brother Noah. And even afterwards, like, what did you do to get that 45? I got my name crossed off. What did I do to get
Who got to the notebook first?
Yeah.
Did Noah get to the notebook first?
Apparently so. Well, it was all my dad's. You can tell my dad had very distinctive handwriting, but he knew how much that 270 meant to me. And this was the first year I hunted with it since I was probably a teenager. Yeah, easily 16, 17 years old, probably. And I got to harvest a real beautiful 10-point buck thanks to Damon Spurgeon and John Rapp down in St. James. So I brought home the blacktail mount. It's beat up, but I like it. It adds character because I mean I've had it since I was 12 years old. And thanks to Larry and everyone down at Scenic Rivers, hopefully next year I'll get that whitetail back. And on the other side of the wall will be my first whitetail I took with that 270. So real special moment for me. And the other highlight would probably be in February. We went back home for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, and I took Coopman steelhead fishing on the Claskenai River, which is just a small little stream that goes through town, and they have native steelhead and sea run cutthroat that go through it. And I've fished for steelhead in that stream for years. I've never caught one. And I took my nephew, who's 10 or 11 years old, and thrown a jig. And like on the first cast, second pop, I hook into a beauty, just a chromed out, just 12, 13 pound, huge steelhead in this tiny river. Like, and it spent more time out of the water than it did in. And the funny part was that I'm using just these little tiny trout rods that I don't know what pound test are on them, and I don't know how old the line is. I just took them off the shelf in the garage, and Cooper's now yelling at me, let me reel it in, and I'm screaming at him, I've never caught a steelhead on this river. And he's like, I've never caught a steelhead. I'm like, oh god dang it, okay, get over here. So I fought it for half the time, he fought it for half the time, and now we have that moment that we can share together, that we caught a freaking beautiful steelhead on the Claskenai River, and we released him, wild fish, and it was just so fun to have that moment with him. And I mean, if you scroll down on our Facebook page on Driftwood Outdoors or Instagram, you'll see me holding it, and it was beaming from ear to ear because it was a pretty incredible experience. But I didn't get to spend a lot of time out in the woods on like big adventures this year, just because unfortunately with my father's passing, I spent a whole month home, kind of blew through all my vacation days for it. And I mean, Brandon, we shared a pretty special opening day with how many fish we caught down at Montauk. That was with Joseph Hawkins and some of our mutual friends. That was a pretty incredible fishery. Never have I fished that river or that park and had that type of day.
That was Annabelle's first opening day, so
spoiled.
That was a lot of fun. We had our spot under the bridge again, trolls under the bridge. Can't wait to go back to opening day. So
yeah,
I actually need to talk to you about something. Might as well just air it out now. When I was in West Virginia recently, one of the guys, the main guy that I was with, Charlie, he's a cameraman for Fly Rod Chronicles, which is a long-running outdoor television show. Curtis Fleming is the host. I think people listening know how I feel about most hunting shows, but this one's been great. You know, Curtis has always kind of talked about conservation. A lot of it has to do with West Virginia, and it's outside of that typical Montana, Wyoming, Colorado vein that almost all fly fishing is. So he spreads it around. Well, I was bragging up the river we no longer speak of and telling them, you know, it's just this incredible hidden gem and you should come, and what a great place to do a show. We do an overnight, and it's like, do we shoot ourselves in the foot by having them come do a show? And obviously inviting more people in. I think, yes, I think it's the right thing to do for the area, and it's the right thing to do for, I think the more people that come to love that river, the more people that come to understand its beauty and its incredible fishing, the more protected it'll become. So
If
Yeah,
you're
that-
if you're doing an overnight on the upper, I want in. Been too long.
yeah, so
we got to get our rafts fixed.
yeah, I did an overnight on the upper. I did one overnight on the upper this year. Yeah, all of our rafts are down. On that same trip though, I did get an in on a new raft brand that we may be looking into. So potential new sponsor coming.
I like that. Well, and even on that opening day, I got a patch of I released the lunker at Montauk, which was on my bucket list of things to do. So I caught like a 4.5 pound rainbow and released it with the
Not
help
like-
of Joe. With the help of Joe Hawkins. He was on the other side of the bank and he came storming over in waders because I was the dummy. I was like, no, I'm not doing open today. I'm going to come down there and just do social media stuff and just hang out and have a good time. And then I saw the quality of fish everyone was catching. And luckily, I just brought my jigging rod down with like 2 jigs. And it was just fish after fish after fish. It was just so much fun. And then caught that lunker. And I was like, all right, I'm done. And Brandon's the one that convinced me. I was like, I want to get my name on the board. I'm going to go put it on the scale and write my name down. He's like, then what are you going to do with it? I was like, nothing. You're right. I'll take a picture. Everyone saw it. I'll release it. I'll go I released the lunker patch.
Yeah, old Joe Hawkins says the three of us are putting a lot of pressure on him. You say he's been with Rachel for a while now. He's like, man, you guys aren't making this easy on me at all, are you? So a little calling him out. Like, we're kind of in wedding mode, Joe, and I didn't have a party, so go ahead and get married. We need another party.
Heck yeah, that would be fun.
She's got our vote. So,
well, and I can't believe, Brandon, you being the big football guy, we've started so many of these podcasts talking NFL and all that stuff that we haven't brought up the Kansas City Traders.
oh my gosh,
and them leaving Missouri to go to the Kansas side.
Well, I'm torn here because I want to be mad at Kansas City, but I'm also really rooting for the Bears to move to Gary. So the Bears are talking about jumping the Indiana line, being in my home county. The Indiana Bears would be pretty sweet. But no, I mean, they're still the Kansas City Chiefs. It's still the Chicago Bears, no matter if they move to Arlington Heights or Gary. It sucks. It really does. It's just like, why, so you can have a few more billion. I mean, aren't the billions you have enough? Like, come on.
I truly believe it's so he can hobnob with more billionaires, that it's not about the common folk. Now he gets his Super Bowl dome. He gets this big giant place that they can have these massive events at, and he can bring in all his cronies and have it be super nice and super fancy and not the blue collar Arrowhead that was so cool. And it cracks me up too, because I'm sure we'll eventually get into this conversation with CWD and having Jason Sumner's on next week, but how everything becomes politicized. That if you go through social media, you got the left blaming the right on why the Chiefs left, and then you have the right blaming the left on why the Chiefs left. And it's why are we pointing fingers at one another? It was a billionaire that didn't want to pay for his own stadium and wanted to make the residents of the county do it, or us as Missouri residents pay for his $3-4 billion stadium. I just find that the most frustrating part is, come on, you couldn't have pitched in at all. We got to jump the state line, and so you can save money so you don't have to. I get really frustrated with it.
So
Have you heard the rumor though? They're even talking about the Bears. I read somewhere that St. Louis is trying to get him to come.
They made some memes about that there's a dome already available, but that's not happening. I mean, Northwest Indiana is essentially South Chicago anyways. If you look at the map, it's just one big population glob. Where I lived in Crown Point was really kind of the outer fringe. I was looking at a cornfield out of my bedroom window, but could be at Soldier Field in Chicago in 45 minutes. You know, Gary, that area, it's so economically decimated, man. Like it's third world. It's really like a third world area. So you've already got this huge infrastructure, the South Shore line. When I go home, you know, we go and we get on the train and we ride the train into Chicago. My girls love doing it. Um, so people in the city can get down to the game by train real quick and real easy. So that's an advantage. The interstate, you know, it's a meeting of interstates. I-65 ends there. You've got everything coming together right there in Chicago. So putting it on South Chicago, putting it right there on the lake. So you don't have to lose that lakefront. Gary's got a really nice airport with the potential to be bigger. I mean, put Gary, Indiana, if you're listening, man, put me on the marketing team. Let's go. I think we can pull this off. Scary Gary, home of the Bears. Let's do this.
Well, if we're going to talk football, I got to go back to Shag's wedding for a minute because, right there at the end of October, it was great to be able to walk over to all Shag's family. So at the reception after the ceremony, we're under the tent and the entire group of Shag's family is huddled around a computer watching the Oregon game.
Yeah, everyone changed to their Oregon gear, their Ducks gear.
Yeah.
The McLeod clan was repping all their Oregon green and watching and then all my college buddies snuck off and were like underneath a tree watching the Mizzou game too. It was pretty
It was
entertaining.
worth it to be able to walk over there. This was a week or two after the IU game and tap them on the shoulder and say, anybody know the IU score? Oh, I did make some friends then, but it was worth it to get the dig in. And if we're going to talk football, how about those Hoosiers?
Man, I'm with them. Hoosiers.
You got a legit chance,
Hoosiers.
man.
Bring it home to the state of Indiana.
You got a ball team. That's for sure.
That coach is unbelievable. He's like a man of steel.
Yeah.
Google me. I win. I love that quote. Just Google me.
Yeah. I don't do anything else. Well, how about Notre Dame getting snubbed? Shags, you better be careful. You get struck by lightning again, but you happy about that?
Conference. Getting a real conference and you won't have to worry about it.
Right? And then you guys get to play Tulane instead of a real team and Oregon.
It was James Madison.
Oh, whoever. You basically got a bye in the first round. They threw like a junior high JV team up against you. So Notre Dame got shafted.
Well, since
Miami won. Miami got in instead of them. Alabama got in instead of them. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I watched that first quarter of the Alabama game and almost went to social media. And boy, I'm glad I didn't because they came back and stomped Oklahoma after that. But
you think IU could take them?
IU
against Alabama?
I mean, I don't think Alabama's going to win there, but I was surprised they beat Oklahoma, honestly. I really think it comes down to Indiana, Ohio State, and I want to say the Ducks just because I'm a homer, even though I don't think this team's as good as last year's team was, but we'll find out.
You realize the Bama fans are going to be commenting on our social media like they're like CWD deniers now.
They're one and the same. Yeah. Purdue basketball, though. How about that?
Hey, I'll give it to them.
Yeah. I'm going to the IU Purdue game in Bloomington.
In this year?
Man, we've still got I bought you one. You haven't bought me any. I owe you one. You owe me two. So I'm losing the deal now.
Yeah. We decided the next one was going to be there in Columbia, and I just haven't been out for it yet.
Well, and Zagreb's.
And I'm not. We did. You said we've done Zagreb's and we did St. Elmo's. So now we got to do. What's your place in Columbia?
We haven't. We did St. Elmo's. We haven't done Zagreb's yet. We haven't done the bet dinner yet in Zagreb's. So we got to do CC City Broiler in Columbia, and then we were going to do the Ocean Air. So I owe you CC's. And I already got you St. Elmo's. You owe me Yonkos and the Ocean Air.
That'll work. But
we just got to stay alive long enough to do this.
Exactly. It'll be a while before. I have a feeling it'll be a while before I win any basketball bets. But, they could suck for the next 10 years. I don't care after watching this football team.
No, I think IU's going to have a program in football. I mean, it's such a beautiful campus. It's already a popular school. There's an opportunity for them to really build a program for a while.
Was
I
that
don't
your
see them
first
fall
ever
off.
Heisman Trophy winner?
Oh
First
yeah,
ever Heisman, yeah. First time they beat Ohio State in like 32, 33 years.
That was a
Um,
ball game, man. Holy smokes,
yeah.
that was a good game.
First time they've been to the Rose Bowl since I think 67.
Well, if we're staying on football, let's get serious and talk about the Bears. How about that? How about that Packer game, man?
I didn't even know
Unreal.
they were playing. I was watching that Ducks game. I would have flipped over. I didn't. It's that. Anytime you get around the holidays and then the NFL starts squeezing in games like on random days, I just completely lose them.
So I was at Bill Conway's house, and Bill's a bigger Bears fan than I am. Bill was born with a Chicago address. I said, so you're saying, because, if you say it's Chicago, I say Chicago, and I'm from Crown Point, Indiana. But his address, like if you sent him a card as a kid, it would have been Chicago, Illinois. So we were at his place in Kentucky on our way back from a multi-state trip that we haven't even touched on yet. Got to witness that comeback. Unbelievable. I mean, just the chances of them coming back at that point were so far below. It was almost like me winning the Powerball that I keep trying to win. Every day I'm buying Powerball tickets in different states. I'm trying to mix it up. It hasn't worked yet, but
Well, we won't talk
Yeah.
about Colts football. We can just get right on to your trip.
well, the Colts are cool though. I mean, bringing Grandpa Rivers out of retirement. I mean, he's legitimately a grandfather. He's
They
not.
throw
He's,
pick sixes.
if Clint
Well-
Eastwood was still younger, maybe they'll have to have Scott Eastwood play it now. They're gonna have to do like a movie with like Clint Eastwood playing the quarterback as Phillip Rivers. Yeah.
I mean, that 49ers game, he had the numbers. I mean, he was through for like 278 and his completion rate was great. He had just that one pick six at the end, but he was trying to force it. They were pushing it. It's just out of nowhere, we got no defense. I mean, no defense. That was the most pathetic defensive showing I think I've seen in pro football in a long, long time. Going back
I
to
don't
the
know.
Colts game here.
Well, I was joking that it makes a lot of sense on how bad the Chiefs are playing this year because I'm calling it the Kansas curse. That we had.
They're throwing it.
We had Hunt doing backdoor deals with Kansas, and it totally just cursed. It's the trading of Babe Ruth. I don't think the Chiefs are ever going to win again, which is fine with me. I take the Super Bowls when they were in Missouri, and Kansas can have 40-year-old Patrick Mahomes and the garbage time.
Yeah. Remember at the end of our podcast with the governor, we said, keep the Chiefs. That's not going to age well.
No. That's I even told Trevor that. I was like, I wonder if that's going to be his legacy, that he'll be known as the governor that lost the Kansas City Chiefs. I just don't know if you could do anything to recover from that.
Yeah. I mean, who lost the Rams? Nixon?
That's a good point. I don't know, but I was never a
So,
Rams fan, so I guess people
yeah.
do forget.
Yeah, they'll forget quick. Hey, they got women's soccer in Kansas City now. I hear it's great.
Because I joke too, like I would rather of them pull the Kroenke than this. I just feel so betrayed that they went to the Kansas side for more money. I would have rather been rooting for the San Diego Chiefs or something like that than I'm not going to Kansas.
Jayhawkers, man.
Yeah, I can't do it.
They rode in and they robbed us. This is
Yes.
the greatest comeback by Kansas ever.
I mean, bad blood, dude. Historically bad blood.
Oh yeah, like burned each other's towns down.
Yeah.
Like,
When they came in and stole the Chiefs from us in the middle of the night.
and it's one of those states everybody drives through.
What's that?
Sorry, Brandon. I said I hear there's a dome open in St. Louis. You can get your governor to
Yeah.
if you can sweeten the deal.
Well, now
How
we got
cool to be if there was
Battlehawks.
if they did an expansion of the NFL and put one team in St. Louis in the AFC and one team in our NFC, AFC, whatever, one in Kansas City, one in St. Louis, just boom, drop two new teams in. That'd be the way to go. What would we name them? The St. Louis what? Blue Cats? Because of like the catfish in the river and an ode to Ozark, the show, the Blue Cat. The St. Louis Blue Cats and the Kansas City, I don't know.
Burn-ins.
The
The spare ribs.
spare ribs, yeah. the dry rubs.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, yeah. So I just got back from another trip, man. This 50 and 50 by 50. It's really turned into such a cool experience. I'm starting to feel the sweat a little bit. I'm 46 and I've got 11 states left to go. But the way that they're checking off now, it's coming together. I just spent 10 days on the road. Lauren and I took off on a trip, hit West Virginia, where I got hooked up with a guy named Charlie Mooney. He's a river guide there. He's a cameraman for Fly Rod Chronicles, works on the show. Just all around awesome dude. We floated the New River, the newest national park in the country, and we shot a couple squirrels. It was an ode to Bayou Bill Cyphers, who was the Indianapolis Stars outdoor writer for 50 years. When I first started writing back in 2006, I got to meet Bill, got to go to his house. I felt like I was walking into a celebrity's place, back then. And he said when he was growing up, he had to help feed the family during the Depression. So he would go fishing on the Muscatatuck River and take his 22 along so he could shoot some squirrels if he happened to see some. So he said, I guess I was just squirrel-ishing. So I wanted to go squirrel-ishing and do a chapter about that for old Bayou Bill and got that done. Went to the bar where Hank Sr. was pronounced dead. So I guess he had told his driver he wanted to go to the Skyline and get some hot dogs. So he died en route to the Skyline, but the driver pulled in, left Hank in the car, went in, ordered the food, came back out, tried to give Hank the food, and that's where he found him dead. So they call it the Skyline Bar, Hank's Last Stop. And it's just this tiny little cinder block building. And those are the kind of things you find along the way on these trips that you don't expect. I got to meet Eric and Doc and got put up in this beautiful log cabin. I got a little video about the cabin playing with the drone, so I'll get that up online as well, promote those cabins. Because Paddle Don's got a history with the Gully and the New and that whole area. So we got to get back over there and do some fishing, do some paddling in the future. Left there after great success and went to Maryland, caught up with a bunch of dudes from Delta Waterfowl in a town called Havre de Grace. And we went body booting for ducks on the Susquehanna Flats, which is really the tip of the Chesapeake Bay. They put you in these like rescue type dry suits and put you out on the flats. The law is your feet have to be on the ground. So they put a huge decoy spread out around you, and you got a box on a stake. And you can put your shells and your phone or whatever. Your gun rests on that horizontally. And you just got to squat in the water all day. There was 8 of us. One guy wasn't really shooting. He was kind of the RD from Delta Waterfowl. And we killed 21 ducks. I got a really nice solo on a mallard. If Shags, you remember, both of you maybe, when you went down the hallway at the cabin, the door going out to the garage, I had a mallard there. I'm going to try to replicate that exact mount with this mallard. And 21 ducks, 9 different species. So that was really cool. And then got to go through a decoy carving museum. And I am dangerously close to forming a new addiction for decoys. Like, you guys know how I get with collecting things, and this could be dangerous. I bought a $400 pair of Joey Job's first red-breasted mergansers. Everybody was buying up his decoys. We were with Joey Job, the famous decoy carver. Amazing. And then I went to Virginia, undisclosed location, met up with a local, unbelievable guy. It's so cool. I called a fishing store to ask if there was a hunting store nearby. The answer was no, but you need to talk to this guy, Joe. Joe actually reached out to a couple industry legends like Terry Rahm. Like, hey, Terry, you ever heard of this Brandon Butler guy? And thank you, Terry, for saying nice things about me. And whoever else he reached out to, Brian Levette, I think, at Realtree. So anyways, Joe took me under his wing and we went cicadere hunting. And I got one, a spike, about a 60-pound deer. Cannot wait to eat the meat. Everybody says it's some of the best out there. Just an amazing experience. I mean, I was hunting very close to the ocean. Everybody kind of sits and waits on them. I ended up going still hunting midday and finding one in some brush and getting it. I don't like sitting still or wasting time when I'm on these limited day hunts, and pulled it off. So I went 3 for 3 with states 37, 38, 39. Looking to get something here before the end of January in one of my remaining states, which people always ask. They are now Rhode Island, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, Pennsylvania, Washington, Utah, Nevada, California, Alaska, Hawaii. Then I know it ends in Hawaii in 2029. We're planning a 2027 hunt to Alaska for blacktails. I got a flintlock made to do deer in Pennsylvania. Then the rest of it's kind of up on draws and lotteries, and then whatever I can whittle it down to. So one thing I'll say that's really surprised me is how much I've come to love the East Coast. And I could really see myself like happy on that side of the country when I never thought that was the case. When I was young, it was like, you must go west, young man, you know? And now that the coastal New England region, it's pretty nice.
All right.
That's where my mom's side of the family is East Coasters. And growing up, every year we would go one vacation. One year we'd go someplace other than the East Coast, but every other year we'd hit the East Coast and take my grandmother with me. And my great grandmother lived to be almost 100, and my mom's from South Philly, but Jersey, but we hit all the different destinations up and down the East Coast, and I just fell in love with it. I miss going back there. I need to return to that. But
well, Shags, I took some of Uncle Steve's Pacific smoked steelhead to eat on the Atlantic. So
nice.
we had a seafood feast. Joe just rolled out the red carpet for me and Lauren. He fried oysters that he had like hand shucked, got himself, sea bass, sheep's head, flounder. Oh man. And then we did a crab dip. It was just amazing. One night I went to a restaurant and had a giant flounder fillet fried, stuffed with the crab cake. Oh, like I could just eat seafood every day. And the way you and I attacked that crab that Uncle Steve brought, like that place is just covered up with different dishes. Crab this, crab that. Yeah, man. This Missouri cuisine, a guy can only eat so many Casey's pizzas and cheeseburgers before you start looking for something else.
But Rebecca asked me the other day what my ultimate meal would be, and it would be a petite filet. I'm old. I don't need a porterhouse. I don't have anything to prove to anybody, but a nice petite filet cooked perfectly, and bacon wrapped scallops, good sized bacon wrapped scallops, some grilled asparagus. That would best surf and turf on the planet. That's my all time favorite meal right there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. The way Brandon cooked those tomahawks that one time down at the cabin, I'd probably take a tomahawk and then a fresh Dungeness crab that you caught and just boil in its seawater and crack that thing open. That would be pretty tasty.
I'd like to have like the like a flight of crab. I don't know what you would call it. Like instead of the different shots, I want king crab, snow crab, Dungeness crab, blue crab, something else that I don't even know about. I always say I'm so jealous of Tom Hanks when he gets stuck on that island by himself and Castaway. Like they should do that for vacation. You just have to go there. They give you a spear. It's all you can eat crab. You don't have to take any emails for 10 days. Just spear crabs and boil them and eat them.
Oh, that's funny.
Spear and volleyball.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think I've only had Dungeness. That's what I grew up with. I don't think I've had any other crab.
You've never like gone out around here and gotten crab legs?
Nope.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, when we were in college, man, there was a Chinese buffet, and that lady knew, like when we came in, that we were going to empty the pan of crab legs, and they might bring one more pan. But then that lady would stand there. It didn't matter if we sat for an hour or how long we were going to sit there. She was not bringing out any more crab legs until we were gone. Like we ruined the crab leg buffet for everybody else in the restaurant when we would go in there.
Yeah, they have the buffet here in town has Saturday night snow crab for like $25.
Really?
meat. Yeah, we should do that on a Saturday.
Heck yeah, I didn't know they did that. So it used to be much easier to find all you can eat crab legs, but anymore it's pretty tough.
Well, do we want to look into 2026? Kind of tease our first big podcast of the new year and what we're looking forward to there. I mean, we're well into an hour on this podcast.
Well, yeah, so Jason Sumner's director of MDC, he issued a statement, kind of a letter. I think it was well written. It was personal. You know, he kind of explained what was happening with CWD. You know, the backlash has just been crazy. I mean, I understand so many of the frustrations, but to me, it just makes sense to be able to understand, you know, why we were doing what we were doing, and the fact that we were maintaining the low prevalence showed that it was working. But hey, you know, it's changing, and I truly hope that we were wrong. But I know we're not, because this has played out before. This is going to be Wisconsin. You're going to see endemic areas where CWD positivity spikes. A lot of people listening right now are saying, so what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't kill anybody. But I have been enjoying posting quotes from Larry Dablemont recently about how many people CWD has killed. So if you're a disciple of Larry and you follow him, which, you know, a lot of people in the CWD's not real camp do, you might want to ask Larry about all the people CWD's been killing over the years. Mad cow disease did jump. To say prions aren't real is insane. To say that this class of diseases isn't real is insane. It's mad cow disease in cattle. It's CWD in deer. It's scabies in sheep. It's Creutzfeldt-Jakob's disease in humans. I mean, this has been going on for years. Many people die from Creutzfeldt-Jakob's disease. Could any of them gotten it from CWD? How can you say no? How can you say no when you know that it's gone from cattle to people? Is there any like proof or any kind of, you know, evidence that that's happened? Nope. And man, let's pray that it never does. Let's pray that nobody ever dies from CWD turning into Creutzfeldt-Jakob's disease in a person, the way that mad cow disease did in England and killed 177 people, and 200 and something more elsewhere. So, you know, because if it does happen, then what happens to hunting? If you know, if people start dying from eating deer, who's going to deer hunt? I mean, at that point. So let's just hope for the best and see what happens. We're going to have Jason on the podcast. He's going to explain why they made the change. We're going to talk about some of the other aspects of deer hunting. And then we're also going to talk about how deer hunting is only one small part of conservation, that there's fishing, that there's forests, that there's all kinds of other types of hunting, that there are nature centers, that there's communications. It's not just your one self-absorbed interest. You know, if you can't see the bigger picture, you need to look a little wider.
And that's the frustrating part, even for me. It's because I posted on our Facebook page, Driftwood Outdoors, and on Instagram of like, hey, we're going to have the director. What do you want to ask him? And they've just been all snarky, asshole, like not even questions of just being dicks. And it's like, come on, guys, you have an opportunity. It's the same reason like their town halls didn't work. They tried to go to all these different counties all throughout the state, like not just one or two. They did like a 15 city tour to try to talk to the public, and no one showed up because everyone's like, well, they won't listen to me anyways. Didn't even give them a chance to answer any of your questions. And I feel like it's the same thing that's happening now. Like even one of them was like, ask him who MDC works for. And I go, well, he works for you, but he also works for me, and he works for Brandon, and he works for people that don't even deer hunt and don't care. He works for the whole state of Missouri, not just you and what you think the state should look like. It's an impossible job to try to please everyone in the state. And now we're cooked as Missourians if this is how I'm not even going to name the Facebook page because all I do is spread misinformation. but this has gained traction, and I can't believe it, saying, here's the reason for the pause. An anonymous high-ranking member of the Missouri House of Representatives has shed light on what's really happened. Dude, if this is what we're doing, like, you don't even know my high-ranking anonymous sources.
Scooby-Doo.
Yes. So Missouri State Parks, the 1/10 cents sales tax is renewed every 10 years. That's the reason MDC has backed off now and paused it. And that once that passes in November, MDC is going to start culling again November of 2026. So these people that talk about follow the money, half of them don't even know where the money's coming from to begin with. And now they're actually starting traction to get people to boycott a tax that's for clean water and our state parks, because, we'll show them and their CWD conspiracies and then their money-hungry, corrupt agencies. It's like, it's not even the same agency. Like, what are we doing as Missourians? I mean, read the comment section, and that's the hardest part. I get worked up. You can't name call because you're not going to do anybody any good to try to name call or get in pissing matches or call people bearded Joe Bidens. Like, that doesn't work. And I'm trying my best to be like, hey, guys, you understand these are two different agencies. You understand. I think, Brandon, you made the post too of like, here's the link of what that tax is actually for. And there's times, and maybe it's just me, and I'm hoping it's the minority of Missourians. But the more I read it, the more I'm just like, we are done as a state. Like, we cannot get out of our own ways. Like, deer hunters, I'm sorry, guys, but we're going to be what ends deer hunting. Like, we can't get along. We can't agree with anything. And now we're talking about sabotaging a completely different agency in Missouri because
it won't work. It's nothing to even worry about, dude. Like, don't worry yourself about this. Last time that tax passed, every county, 114 with 81% of the vote. So there's 6.3 million people in Missouri, 575,000 people buy a deer license. You know, this little troll group, it's grown. It's a little mob, little online troll mob, but it's a tiny little mob, man.
But now it's all politicized, because even in the comment section, it's like, the libs in the city will make sure this gets voted through. Like,
think about the Joe Dirt character that's saying that. I mean, that's what you have to close your eyes for a second, or just click on their profile picture. That's all you got to do.
I've had some people make some comments about me where I'm like, I went to go look. I was like, you'd never say that to my face. For one, you'd be staring at my belly button, and two, like, get out of here.
You guys, have to maintain a little more decorum, and I'm a little looser affiliated, and I don't care anymore. I don't watch my mouth. I will name call, but I also, for every time I call somebody out, I try and drop some facts. Most of these people don't understand. They think that they're voting on the 1/8 sales tax. They don't understand the 1/10 sales tax. I live here. I spend a lot of my outdoor money in Missouri, and I'm, a former member of Confedmo and just need to re-up my dues with them. But, that's where my outdoor money goes, and I care about it deeply. And I probably have gone a little bit scorched earth with some of these folks, and I accidentally lumped one of them in who was saying something facetiously the other day. And, but we ended up having a wonderful conversation afterwards that's out there for all to see. But man, you guys, when you said that, Missouri's just, I'm afraid of what's going to happen. The infighting among the same team is ridiculous. But then again,
I have the answer. We can make everybody happy. So we just divide the state in two, and it's unlimited non-resident deer licenses in the Ozarks, where there's millions of acres of public land. And then it's a draw system north of I-70. So it's below I-70, north of I-70, unlimited. And anybody needs some pens on where there's some good deer, hit me up. I'll send you trail camera photos.
Just flood Pioneer Forest.
Oh yeah, it's just that whole Ozark National Scenic Riverways area loaded with big bucks, and you got thousands and thousands of acres. I mean, hundreds of thousands of acres to spread out in.
And it drives me nuts. Okay, take a deep breath. It's going to be fine. But if your only personality is your political party, you have an issue. Like, not everything is about politics. And how many times I've been called a libtard or don't like, just because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to trust a deer biologist who loved deer so much they dedicated their whole lives to go through all the schooling to learn as much as they can about deer. That, yeah, I want to trust that guy when it comes to what we should do with deer biology, and not a guy that is in, a boot heel or somewhere, or a hauler.
The guy who talked to a conservation agent who told him that the insurance companies have everybody on the track.
Yeah, don't even start with the insurance stuff too. Like, it's just, I find it so frustrating that it's now a Republican versus Democrat thing, which is not true at all. And that's all the comment section is, that you get a handful of people now that are like, hey, they're actually doing some pretty good things, and here's some stuff that kind of proves that. And they're, oh, you boot looking libtard is what everyone says, instead of like having a conversation, or even like, you know what? Yeah, I acknowledge.
Well, how many of those do you think are bots, man? Like, are not even real people, or they're dummy accounts for the same. There's a couple psychopaths out there. There's a couple like really obsessed sociopathic people leading that little cult. That dude, you gotta feel sorry for them in a way. They got hurt somehow, man. They're broken a little bit, and they're obsessed.
Yeah, part of me wants the doll and like, show me on the doll where MDC hurt you, because it's not, it can't be just CWD.
No, they got tickets. They got,
caused it. And that's the thing. I'll give David Westmoreland a lot of credit, because he made a big post with that saying, hey, I'm cautiously optimistic. That, and it's like, good for you. But then there's other people that we've had on this podcast that are now still just railing. And I'm like, it got paused. You got what you wanted. Even the non-resident tags have gone up, but it's not good enough. That MDC is still corrupt. They're still lining their pockets. Well, it's just,
I think Jason's a great guy. Jason's doing a great job. And I just want to say, from here, I support him 100%, but I don't envy him at all.
Oh God, I feel so bad.
But man, that's really what it comes down to, is all this science has been discredited culturally, like societally, across the board lately. And so now I don't think that it's that many bots, Brandon. I think it's a lot of people that think that confirmation bias is science. And that's what you're going to fight.
Living in their echo chambers too.
That's
everyone thinks this.
Idiocracy, dude. Idiocracy is real.
Well,
I just need to move to Costa Rica.
my friend Brad Rechtenwald did, and he never came back, man. He's been down there. Like, Brad's got it all set up.
But I mean, quite honestly, there's days where I'm like, why am I even doing this? Why? Like, why am I out here putting my name on the line and being called all this stuff? Like Jesus, criminy.
Way back to that conservation day when, why do you hate Missouri?
Yeah, that's why you're doing it.
Yeah,
you care.
I feel like I'm the only one that appreciates what we have. And part of me wants to get on there too. Like, you know why we have so many non-residents? Because they appreciate what we have.
Yeah, that's the exact truth.
I'd be
so good here. It's good here
everywhere.
Yeah.
If people weren't trying to burn it down.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to be interested to sit down with Jason and try to hash some of this stuff out. And it's not.
There's been some good questions too. I mean, they're legitimate. There are legitimate questions as to why was that decision made? What are the expected outcomes now? Other questions outside of CWD about the non-resident issue that just keeps getting hammered on. So we'll have some good dialogue, good discussion. Jason doesn't shy away from questions.
No,
He'll give us the straight answer, and then you'll have the trolls saying he's not telling the truth.
still won't be good enough. Still won't
No,
be good enough.
no.
You were talking
So-
about bring it back to what the last tangent we got off on. You said something about guests for the next upcoming season. I got one in my pocket. I mentioned something to Brandon about it. We got to talk later about this. I've got the new World's Most Interesting Man. It's not it's not a Missouri resident, but this guy's a Hoosier living in Alaska, and actually I met him through Jesse Dubell, who I never shook hands with, but I feel like I know him through you guys and through social media. Jesse and I have been friends, but Jesse interviewed this guy and they just touched on a couple things. We've gotten to be friends. He's splitting his time between Indiana and Alaska. And man, I got to get this guy on this this podcast. We talked for 2 hours on the phone the other day and it just blew me away. I wanted to record it all and just play it back. But so I'll be in touch with you guys about that and I'll do some introductions, but very, very, very involved in Indiana's conservation efforts. He's part of the reason, he's a big reason we do have turkeys. He's also a big reason we don't have grouse. Goes back to the early days where we were trapping grouse and trading them for turkeys when we didn't have turkeys. And now we have plenty of turkeys and we have no grouse. But this fella's, he's the real deal and he walks the walk and talks the talk. So I want to get him on here for you guys.
And the
Cool.
fawns. You still owe us the fawns.
Yeah, you're supposed to get the fonts. Oh, and we got to
Great
redo. Mr. McLean.
Yes.
Mhm.
John's, we owe him that and we need to get his story back out there.
Yep, and I got some interviews coming up from my recent travels. So we'll have some podcasts. We're gonna get Joe on. We'll probably get Charlie on, and then I recorded one while we were in Havre de Grace. So some cool stuff coming up from that trip.
We got some great stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming year. Well, we're kind of coming towards the end of the podcast, and generally we wrap up with the mystery bait bucket question. But since this is the new year, New Year's Eve podcast, that the question should be like, what is our New Year's resolution for 2026?
I'm going back to what I've failed at in the past. I'm just gonna keep this mine until I get it done, I guess. But that's to publish my first book. I feel like I'm closer than ever. I feel like I've got a few of them written in my head. It's just getting them out onto paper. I have a new assistant, a chat bot that can take notes while I drive and does all kinds of amazing things. So between me and my chat bot, maybe I'll get this done this year. And I feel like once I get the first book out, they'll start coming out, But 2026, let's do it.
Well, with mine, like this year, I've been on a real health and wellness kick, and I started the year at 25% body fat, and I got it down to 15, and I would like to get it even lower to like about 12. So I'm going to have to really start really counting some carbs, like just counting everything. But that's my ultimate goal, is to get down to like 12% body fat. I originally said 10, but I know how insane that is. So I'm giving myself a little bit of a leeway. Like if I make 12, I'll still going to see if I can get to 10. But yeah, I'd like to lean up a little bit more. So then when you try to call me a bearded Joe Biden to my face, I can have a little muscle behind it.
I gave up on that years ago.
I feel great, man. You got to start throwing that kettlebell around. Start getting some testosterone. And
I'm old. I don't do anything around.
He can't fight. He'll get his fake teeth knocked out.
Yeah.
That's why you need the testosterone, man. You got to go to Game Day Men's Health.
I'm going to get back to putting some content out. That's, since I came, it's been almost in May, it'll be 5 years since I came on with Mongo, and that kind of took everything over. And then for last year and a half, with getting engaged, buying a house, working on the house, I got away from producing any content. And by content, I'm not talking social media. I've had a lot of adventures and a lot of fun times that tired of talking about them. I want to write them down and get them out there. So my New Year's resolution is to peck away on the keyboard, take good quality pictures and share them with people that want to read it.
Cool.
Well,
I've got an
Fine.
idea for the gear review.
all right. Well, we've got the final thought. Then we get into the gear review.
Okay.
Or the final thoughts, the final cast of the pod. I mean, I'll start. Brandon, congratulations. Pedal
Yeah.
Dawn, congratulations. It's been a great year hanging with you boys. I'm thank you for the invite to your wedding. Pedal Dawn, we had a lot of fun in Indiana, and I'm glad you made it to Missouri for mine. I hope you had as much fun as we did at yours. And
We wouldn't have missed it for the world.
you probably noticed that we stole a couple of things from your wedding and added them to ours. So
We got them from other people.
but it was a good year, fellas. I mean, ups
was.
and downs, some ups and downs on my end, but I mean, overall, I'm just blessed to have such good friends and family, and I look forward to 2026 for sure.
I definitely think we would all agree that we're better off with these women we married than we were without. So I think we're all lucky, and we all made good decisions, and we added 3 awesome ladies to the crew. So
100%.
I think, to expand on that, we exchanged some gift certificates and whatnot for travel. And when it was all said and done, I got Brandon what he got me, and did the same for Shags in a way that we all could have just kept our money and exchanged handshakes. But but with that being said, in 2026, we need to make this Gaston's trip happen.
we'll do it.
The group honeymoon fishing adventure float, whatever we're going to call it. But this spring, let's start putting that Gaston's trip together.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You got it.
All right, guys. Thank you, Pedal Dawn, for jumping on. Gear review coming up next.
So I thought it'd be fun. Since it's going to come out after Christmas, we're safe in saying, like, what's one gift you got for your wife on your first Christmas together? Married Christmas together.
Just walked in the door from work. She's on the left wall.
Tell her to walk back out for a second.
Hasn't opened hers yet, and she can hear me in the other room.
Oh, you guys.
Here, but my gear review is something that we got for Christmas, so I'll do that.
So that we're gonna have to wait one more before we.
Okay.
Gear review.
All right.
End of the podcast. The beginning of a gear review. Brandon, what are you reviewing for us today?
So I am reviewing a Vortex rangefinder. The Sika deer are small. I mean, like 60 pounds small. So I had a shot at a couple. I thought they were a little far. I ranged them 280 yards. It was getting dark. I chose not to take the shot. So it was really nice to be able to know how far they were, make an educated decision. This Vortex rangefinder, I've been running it since the moose hunt. So this is my 3rd season, I believe, running this one. Changed the battery this year. I mean, it's simple to use. It's very durable. Everything by Vortex is awesome. So it's just, if you don't have a rangefinder, ethically, it's a tool that you should probably pick up. And I don't know anybody that does it better than these Vortex.
That's the same one I use.
I'm getting a better one then.
For my gear review, we were talking about, my health and wellness journey, and like the one thing I've really been missing is good sleep. And I've always suspected that I'm not sleeping very well, or that I'm snoring, or I have some type of sleep apnea. So here in Columbia, Missouri, there's a place called the Bohan Sleep Therapy. And anymore, you can do it at home. It's like a smartwatch that you put on your wrist, then that has an attachment that goes on your finger, and then another attachment on the back end that goes up your arm, and it's a little sticky part you put like over your heart. And come to find out, I was waking up 29 times an hour, either gasping for air or not breathing at all. Like the woman called me and goes, "You're not sleeping." And so they've fitted me for a mouthpiece to start with, which again, too, I was all paranoid to go in there. And you remember the old filling, like just that goop that they put in there, and you have to clamp down, and it feels like it's dripping down the back of your throat, and you're gagging and spitting and sputtering. You don't have to do that anymore. Now it's like a wand that just does imagery on the computer screen, and they make these 3D printed pieces that are supposed to help with the airway and help you breathe better. But it was a little alarming on that she's like, yeah, you haven't been sleeping at all. And it was kind of funny because, 30 and over we consider severe. I go, all right, well, I'm not severe then. And she goes, it was 29. I was like, yeah, I'm not severe. No, I don't know what you're talking about. But apparently there's two type of sleep apneas, the ones that like your tongue or you've blocked your airflow. And then there's another form that's like neurological. And she's like, man, normally with those, you're going to have to get a CPAP. So I might have to get the Darth Vader mask. But I mean, if it helps get my blood pressure down and reduces my risk of a stroke, I might have to start doing it. So I can't
I'll
say
sell you a
enough
used one.
to the Bohan sleep study, because I'm glad I did. I'm glad I didn't put it off anymore. I learned a lot about my sleep patterns, and I'm gonna have to make some serious health adjustments.
Yeah, man, I'm still paying like payments on my sleep apnea machine. I don't wear it. I got to try again.
So
I just couldn't get right with it.
My mom went through all that and just couldn't live with that CPAP machine, and she got the Aspire, I think it's called. It's an implant they put right here, and they run a little wire lead up to the back of your palate. And every time, like when she goes to bed, she takes this thing that looks like a mouse and she holds it against it and it turns it on. And then she goes to bed, and anytime it senses her palate relaxing, it sends a little electric shock and it keeps it raised up. And she's loves it. Sleeps like hasn't slept in years. It was a little bit invasive putting it in. About 3 days recovery time. She was sore up the side of her neck where they fish a wire through there, but she absolutely loves it. Absolutely loves it. Best thing she ever did for her sleep.
I'll have to keep that in mind if I can't do the mouthpiece or the CPAP.
Well, my gear review is a little less glorious, but we got a gift card from Rebecca's aunt, and we have a 2-car garage here. And she is I haven't known what it was like to park a car in a garage in so long. It's just another den for me. Her side of the garage, she prefers to keep clean and pull her car in. My side of the garage is all my tools. I've got 2 complete rollaways in there, plus all the woodworking tools, plus enough outdoor gear to start an outdoor store. And this time of year with all the snow and ice on our vehicle and coming in, it would drip off and it runs across the garage floor, and anything I have on the floor just gets soaked. We've had a few mishaps already, but we took her aunt's gift certificate, and I don't have a brand name, but we jumped on Amazon and found it. It's a mat for the garage. It's made out of the same material that our rafts are made out of. And it's got probably a 2-inch around seam around the outside of it. That's got basically a pool noodle in it. So she pulls in onto that mat, and everything that drips off of her car lands on that mat. It came with a squeegee. I did learn the hard way the very first night that if you have snow on your boots, you'll end up under the car. But with just rainwater on it and my boots, I don't slip at all. When it gets full, this time of year, we've been having, we've had quite a bit of snow and ice, and then monsoonal rains, and just squeegee it off the end right out under the door, and my side of the garage is high and dry, and it has been great. It's been a couple weeks now, and once we got used to it, you can order them in all different sizes. It wasn't expensive. I think it was like $75, $80, but yeah, it's wonderful for keeping my annex den dry.
Awesome.
So that's what I got.
All right. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you in 2026.
Happy
We'll
New
see
Year.
you down the trail.